What if your boss is a robot?
Okay, how Apple always leads, even if they come late, but they lead. You never recruit for knowledge. Knowledge is always acquired. It's going to be obsolete. But the attitude, the personality, you have to keep on learning every day. When you're sending a soldier to the war, you don't tell him that you're going to be killing yourself down there and you need to kill somebody there. We're going to be showing him the bigger purpose.
Your kids are going to school safe.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, welcome back to a new episode of the TrickCast. Today we have a very special treat. Aside from me getting the privilege to interview Amir, we talk about all the time. You're a leader in the telecom space, involved in AI, consulting, investment, all kinds of things. And today you open up the secret notebook to give a call to the VIPs in your list. So we got a guest today, our first guest on the TrickCast. Yehia, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Yeah, everything is great. Thank you so much, Alex. It's really nice seeing you and Amir, even through the screens. Yeah, but it's really nice to see you.
Likewise. And maybe can you share with our audience where you're based at the moment?
I'm based in Cairo, Egypt.
Perfect.
I'm shooting from the glass room, my wife's glass room at home. Yeah.
Got it. With some ancient temples probably in the background nearby.
We're nearby, but it doesn't show at the background.
Got it. Well, maybe just to kick things off a little bit, Amir, why don't you share with us, first of all, how you guys met, and then we can get into our guest story, background, leadership advice, and so on.
Alex, it's always nice to catch up with you. And
Likewise.
welcome to our audience, the TrickCasters. So we promised you that we will have a lot of boardroom magicians and scholars into the conversations with us. So we met in building of Etisalat network in Egypt in 2007. So I was taking care of Alexandria and Delta and some parts of North Coast, which was the funnest part of the time. And Yahya was leading the core network and operations at this time. Right, Yahya?
Yes.
And was that just in a certain part of Egypt, or was that kind of a large area of Egypt?
Actually, the network was covering full Egypt.
All of Egypt, yeah.
The core network was handling definitely the full network. But as Amir said, from the radio perspective, it was divided into regions, and Amir was handling the Alexandria and the North Coast area from RF perspective and from a radio planning perspective.
Yeah, but we had the first 3G network in Egypt, and first 3G was something. Yeah, and today we're gonna talk a lot of technology adoption actually and introducing new tech and how is the tactics of that. But we had the first 3G network, and I remember when we did the first video call, and we had to go and see. Wow.
It was something at that point of time. It was something. We had the first 3G network. We had the first full IP network at that point of time. We had the first, from the core perspective, we had the first all split architecture core network at that point of time. So I think we had a lot of innovation and technology adoption at launching A and Egypt. Yeah. At that point of time, it was Etisalat still.
Yes.
And I think it's going to be interesting as well to kind of understand today what kind of decisions you guys are making at that scale when it comes to AI, when it comes to all of these new technologies and space centers in the orbit. You know, there's a lot of quite futuristic things that feel within the reach in the past couple of years. So we're going to get to this shortly, but Yahya, could you maybe give us a bit of a background on a high level about your career? I know you've been telecom for 30 years, but just how was that journey for you? And I imagine the scale and development of infrastructure when you started versus today, it's probably day and night.
Of course.
So could you share some of your story there with us?
Yeah, of course. Actually, I've been graduated from Cairo University 1996. You know, the first year after your graduation, you start exploring everything. You start looking at how things could work for you. Then I got the opportunity to join Etisalat UAE. It was a great opportunity for a lot of people at that point of time. GSM was still booming, and I was selected to join the core at that point of time. I learned a lot. We used to get the first-hand experience of installing MSCs, configuring them, troubleshooting, doing the operations. So you get the full, when there is a new technology being adopted, the learning is very, very big, and you
It's a
you start
steep curve kind of early on.
yeah. So you start taking better responsibilities, and you start doing things by your hand. So it feels that the learning is being anchored to to your personality. It was very, very great opportunity at that point of time. I stayed in Etisalat, UAE, for something like around 10 years. Then I joined the core operations team. All the core network at that point of time was under our control. The good thing about it is, it was, as I said, it was the emerging technology at that point of time. Uh, we were developing. We were young, and we were developing. I had a lot of friends and colleagues with the same age and even more senior than us, who has taught us a lot of tips and tricks of how to handle the operations and what exactly to be done. And I think this was a very nice period of my career that gave me the technical expertise that I needed to handle the next 20 years. Yeah. Then after which there was the acquisition of the license in Salat, Egypt. At that point of time, this was something like 2006. We started at that point of time making a team to handle the launch of Salat Egypt, and how are we going to be doing this in Salat Egypt. At that point of time, I was selected again to join the core team, building the core network and making sure that we are getting the launch in time. We are the design of the core network. What vendors are we going to be using? How are we going to be integrating with the different other networks? Then we launched the network. After launching the network, I joined. I was handling at that point of time the core network operations, with all the challenges of the launch. And as Amir was saying, this is the first call. This is the connectivity that we need to do. This is the first international call. Then we started launching the video calls. Then again, it was a very, very busy journey, and everybody was putting all hands together so that we can achieve the end in mind target. It was a great achievement that we launched in something like 6 months from getting bringing the team together till we launched in around 6 month time. Yeah. This is the full journey in just 5 minutes.
And obviously, you kind of went to the ranks of leadership very early on, and have been in a very kind of important strategic roles as well for quite some time, isn't it?
Yeah, actually, one of the main challenges was creating the core team, the core operations team in Etisalat, Egypt. When we joined in 2006, when we were building the network, and we were in need to build also the team, the resources, the competencies that are going to be handling this afterwards. And this was the one of the funniest journeys that I have gone through with the teams, because again, acquiring some resources and making sure that you are uh, getting from different cultures with different backgrounds, and trying to create your own culture and your own company's culture. This was something, a really good experience for me at that point of time.
I remember the time actually, and I think maybe it would be really helpful, Yahya, to tell us a little bit about what are your thinkings normally when you're building a team in reality, because that team that we had on the launch, that was an amazing team.
Yeah,
That
and you know that this team is now where they are all. Yani, I think the only available guy right now in Etisalat is Khalid Fahmi,
yeah,
after he went back and forth. But again, the team, actually, the first thing that you look at when you're recruiting somebody, or you're recruiting an engineer, it's all about the personality and the attitude. You never recruit for knowledge, because knowledge is always acquired. Knowledge is going to be obsolete. but the attitude, the personality, this shows you whether he's willing to learn or no, whether he's gonna be that you can depend on him or no, whether he's capable of acquiring the needed competencies, whether technical or managerial competencies. And I think this was the main thing when we recruited. And you know the team by name, yeah, Amir, at that point of time we had a team of something like 5 engineers at that point of time, and they were all Amir's age at that time. They were very enthusiastic. They had their hands on in everything. They are willing to learn. They are willing to participate, and I think this what made things go well with us. Yeah.
To be honest, the thrill of actually building something and putting it together and finally seeing it in front of you,
Yes,
that thrill is addictive. I don't think
it is.
anything
It is.
defeats that. But I tell you a funny story about you actually. That when we were actually trying to find jobs at this time, people would actually come to the lobby of Etisalat and would wait for you because it was your actually petition that the people will, if you manage to get 5 minutes with Yahya and you're really good, you will get the job. And I think you remember one of two that happened that they did that to you. They stopped you on the way and they come and they start talking. It's like, I cannot meet anyone to have a job. And then you give the CV and then it's, yeah, okay. And he really had an eye. And I think most of those people that were picked from the lobby in Etisalat was actually your handpick.
I think one of the very nice stories was I'm not gonna mention the name because he's one of our friends, so we shouldn't be. Uh, I was working late that night. Then I found one of my colleagues. He was handling at that point of time the packet core. He came to me. He told me, "I have a very good candidate that I saw down in the lobby, and he's having his CV and he wants to join it." I told him, يعني, okay, bring him in. He came. I sat with him. He had a very great attitude. At that point of time, he was very enthusiastic and he was willing. And I was very happy to see somebody who's coming late at night, maybe around 9 o'clock or something, having his CV rolled in his hand and saying that I need to meet somebody from the core network. I'm looking to join your network. He was really this is one of the things that I have recruited him for, because he was very passionate. It showed a lot of willingness to achieve, and at that point of time, this was the whatever I was looking for. Yeah.
Now, was
Yeah.
that like freshly graduated university, somebody with 1 year experience
No,
on
he was not.
telecom
No, he
engineering,
was
or?
no, he was something like I think he was something like 3 4 years at that point of time. He was working in Alcatel and he was traveling a lot, and I think he was willing to settle and join back in Egypt. Yeah.
Got it. So somebody who knew how to do the job. It wasn't a fresh
Yes.
college graduate that you.
Yeah, he was not very fresh. Yeah, he was having an experience of I think 3 4 years at that point of time.
But at that time as well, again, I think since we're talking about technology adoption, it was a completely new tech. So knowing
Yes.
something that's really, as Yahya was mentioning, it's beside the point at this case. Like you really it's like I'm coming to you now and saying, tomorrow you're gonna run a team of 10 agents on Cloud, and those is gonna be your team members. Catch. So it's a bit same
In the
at
deep
this
end.
point. Yeah.
Now, we often talk about Amir here, a kind of technology being the tide that raises all boats, and how in many African countries and kind of crisis countries where you helped set up the telecom infrastructure, they went from not having a phone while the whole first world has, home phones, then you got a pager in the car, or you got that big thing. And next thing you know, we got 4G, 5G, and so on and so forth. Whereas in a lot of these developing countries, they skipped a generation. And a lot of times they didn't even have the phone landline. They went straight to the Nokia, black and white cell phone with 3G or whatever the case may be. Did you guys, from both of your times in Egypt, did you see that big spike, or what was that point where you went from home phones to all of a sudden everybody's doing video calls? Or was that something that was a gradual move, or did you guys notice a big difference in a span of a couple of years?
That's for you, Yahya.
Let me Let me take it that way. First of all, as Amir said, when we were launching, we were the first 3G network to be launched in Egypt. At that point of time, definitely, when we have introduced 3G, it started triggering the usage of data and the applications of utilizing data on top of mobile networks. Initially, the main killer application was definitely the voice. Everybody was looking for voice calls. The voice calls charges in Egypt at that point of time were a little bit high, okay, in cost. Yeah. Then when we were launching our network, we saw how the data was growing, the data usage was growing, and how things were evolving with the usage of the data. We started having video calls. We started offering services like call center over video calls, which was very revolutionary at that point of time, because we did it mainly for the mute and deaf customers who are not able to speak, so that we can
Mhm.
offer an innovative uh, service to them. Then the other triggering point, or the other changing point, was launching the 4G. Actually, launching the 4G gave a huge boost of the data usage. At that point of time, uh, lots of applications, lots of data usage on top of the network started. At that point of time, we started seeing the turnover of how important is the data to the customers, and how things should be implemented on the network. At that point of time, this was a turning point, launching the 4G in our network, similar to whatever happened when we launched. Maybe we didn't see the differences between the 2G and the 3G, because when you launched it, it was already 3G, and we were the first to launch 3G, so we started on 3G. But when we launched the 4G, at that point of time, it was a turning point. Uh, uh, Again, these points are very, as you said, are very enlightening times in your career, because you can see how is the technology impacting the behavior of the customers, and it turns services ups and downs. Yes.
The point as well, Alex, is that Egypt is an established market at the end of the day. Like, and it's slow, but it's always steady. Like, I think the
Mhm.
first phone line in the Middle East or outside of Europe was in Egypt in reality. So,
Yeah.
and when you go to there is always landline in Egypt, and things take its time in Egypt. It takes the progress, and it moves on. But if I would recall the 3G time, entrance of the 3G, the big shift in the behavior was really with the price, like what Yahya said, because a lot came with a policy pricing attitude, and it was boom, let's take the price down, and then also the football. That was an interesting part, and I think
Yeah.
like it
Yeah.
is a lot that really played the harmony of the football with the Egyptians, and it was the prime of the Egyptian national team, like 2006, 8, and then. So I can even remember the ads of Etisalat now. شجع شجع مصر بتلعب. It's like
Yes. Yes.
so, and can you? It's rhyming in my ears till now, actually. So and that was phenomenal. Actually, I would say the marketing team of Etisalat at this time was rightfully one of the best in the regions, to be honest. And now I think Hatem is running the whole show in Etisalat now, and so it was interesting.
Yeah.
So I think the other one that's very interesting, Yahya, which I would really want to get your heads on in there. So when you see the move from the 3G to the 4G, and then starting of the data adoption into in the Egyptian market, what would be the significance of actually the team structure and the speed into the market? Because it was a completely different game here. In 3G, you were entering the market alone, or at least you had a grace period for some time. And then when you come again with a new technology and then reintroduce that tech, well, the market is all coming together. It's a completely different game that you would like to play here. What were your thoughts and tactics there?
Actually, it was mainly you have to work it as a full team together, because 4G, it's about you're having changes in the core network, you're having definitely huge changes in the access network, you have to manage the transmission, you have to manage your international links, because this is going to be huge traffic that is going to be handled there. So at that point of time, we had a group of project team that was handling how are we going to be launching the 4G. How many sites are going to be launched, and we are having a count of sites per day. How many sites did we reach right now? The optimization team, and definitely the vendors at that point of time. Okay, then we need to have the core network ready. Are we going to be modernizing our core network? Yes, we are going to be doing this. What are the timelines? What are the time plans? So it had to be synchronized, and it had to be very, very carefully timed amongst the different teams. At that point of time, this project team was handling the synchronization between the different activities, because you have to go for the mass implementation of the sites and making sure that you're having the proper coverage, in addition to handling the capacities needed along the way, and making sure that you're growing healthy rather than growing quickly. Let's put it that way, because one of the challenges is you need to show a differentiation. When we launched 4G in Egypt, a little bit delayed from the world at that point of time. So everybody was expecting something from the 4G. So it was a really um, I cannot call it dilemma, but it's something like a challenge that you need to launch quickly, or you need to launch healthy, or you need to give the customer the proper advantage of the 4G. And actually, this is what happened. We provided the proper service to the customer with a decent and enough time to launch in the market.
And do you have a different feeling of the team structure at this time? Like, how's your team set up and soul and spirit when it comes to 4G team and 3G launch team?
You know that it was similar. It was similar. It came something like we launched the network in 2007. Then the launch of 4G was like 2016. At that point, these were something like 10 years support. Actually, it felt like the launch time, because whenever you're having a new project that you're having everybody uh, running after one target, after the same target, everybody is going to be having the same enthusiasm and the same feelings of really, really willing to achieve the target. The synchronization, the harmony, and this is actually, I always say that this is the Egyptian capabilities, that whenever we are running after a project, after a clear target, you're gonna be finding that we are all enthusiastic about it, and we go very, very. We play the extra mile.
Passionately after it.
Everybody, yeah. So I think everyone is always like this.
Now, what does the conversation look like after those targets? And you have to keep the day-to-day motivation. How do you rally the troops at that time?
You have to at that point of time, you have to show the value. You have to show why are we doing this, and this is one of the main traits of the leader, that you have to show the value of whatever is being done by the team, and you have to tell you have to show them the impact of whatever they are doing, or why are we doing this. Okay, we have to make sure that always we are communicating why are we doing this, what is their job, and what are we going to be doing is going to be impacting in the future. Is it going to be impacting our revenue only? Do we have to run after customer experience? Is it going to be for the personal pride of everybody, that we are the first to launch, or we are the best to launch? similar to whatever is happening right now. Whatever is happening right now, you start to motivate by the challenge. You start to motivate by, no, we need to be the first in 5G speed. We need to be the first in MPS. We need to be the first in the best customer experience, for example. So you always have to keep a goal obvious to the team members to look after or to look at, so that they can always have the motivation to reach the target.
You know, it's interesting because we didn't talk about this before, yeah, like ahead of time. And the first chat I had with Amir, the very first conversation, I was actually interviewing him as a guest. And that's one thing he said whenever you'd have to get the guy to risk his life and climb the tower to fix the network in the middle of Mosul when there's shooting back and forth and bombing and God knows what else, right? You don't tell them that you're going to pay him overtime. You tell them that the little girl who needs to call the doctors to, help her
Yeah,
after, some kind of
yeah,
accident or something that's the people you're
yeah.
helping. So it's interesting that you have the same kind of ethics in
It
mind
is.
whenever you you bring in this up. Very interesting.
Yeah, it is, because the thing is that the this is one of the life lessons that I learned, that you have to show the person when you're sending a soldier to the war. You don't tell him that you're going to be killing yourself down there and you need to kill somebody there. Definitely no. You're going to be showing him the bigger purpose. You're going to be showing him how your nation and how you have to tie this
Your
to
kids
a
are
very
going to school
specific.
safe.
Yeah, yeah. So it's similar to you remember, I think there was a video regarding the when the president, I think Kennedy, he was visiting the NASA place, and he saw one of the janitors cleaning the floors. So he just wanted to just break the ice with him, and he asked him, "What are you doing, my friend?" So he
Mhm.
told him, "I'm sending someone to the moon." So actually, he knows that the target is to send somebody to the moon. Whatever I'm doing is gonna be contributing to sending somebody in the moon to the moon, and this is exactly the way I like to work with. I need to show what is the target, what is the business impact, what is the customer impact, what are we going to be achieving at the end, and this is what makes everybody engaged and contributing to the target.
The Egyptians are interesting in this as well. I would say, in top of adding the pressure, like you have to put some, not little more. You have to put a little bit more of pressure, like some, actually little bit more. We like add more, another more, because like I think Egyptians are more like coal, charcoal. When you pressure, you get diamond out of that. You have to mix that thing when you're managing a team of Egyptians, but they're also very competitive, and you need to create a little bit of an enemy out for them. So they have to run after
Mm.
that enemy. So it's in addition to placing the purpose with the mix of that purpose, they you must have a little bit of a competitive edge here, in sense of urgency, or for teams to wire together. Did you notice that with the team in Itzalat? Yeah.
Yes, yes, this was really, but actually it works very well, as you said, when you create a sense of challenge, or a sense of
There's a fire under the feet.
fire. There's a fire, exactly. There's a fire in the
Mhm.
field, and you need to go for the field there.
I notice in the Middle East, and really specifically Egypt, Tunisia, actually North Africans, if you don't create that outside purpose or outside enemy, they turn into each other. You have to put it
Mm.
under control, and otherwise you have a problem actually. So it's one, I think, of the threats that you have to keep in your mind. And we have met a couple of masters in this actually, in our life, that I think we learn it from him a lot. I would say his name Isam actually. So he has this art of actually making
Yeah.
sure that there's that
Yes.
sense of healthy friction happening all the time, and he used it very well to his purpose to make sure that the teams are running actually. So
Yes.
yeah.
It
Well,
So
is.
yeah, here we have some interesting, kind of relevant today topics that we want to bring you into the conversation on. Just maybe one last question. We talked about the importance of hiring people, hiring the right way, how to look for people to hire. You obviously talked about the importance about keeping the team motivated, putting things in perspective, focusing on the result, right? There's a lot of mindset, us versus them, using cultural influence to motivate people to lead. Are there any other major lessons from your takeaway just in the telecom space and in leadership for for such massive organizations over the past 30 years?
Frankly speaking, there are a lot of lessons. You need to make sure that you are having you're always I always say that my leadership style is always delivering through people, that you have to make sure that everybody is involved with you so that you can deliver the main target. I usually try not to leave anybody at the back, because you need to make sure that everybody is pushing with you, everybody is going towards the target, and you need to make sure that this team, one of the lessons that I have learned the hard way is that the team grows, and the team members, they grow. So don't expect that they are gonna be there always. You have to always bring up leaders. Okay, so you have to always develop these team members, and you need to make sure that you're having the proper machine that brings back to the team other team members, because you are growing and the team members are growing, the team is expanding. So you need to make sure that the process of bringing new blood to the team and evolving the existing team members to be handling different roles, this is a continuous thing that is going to remain happening, and you need to make sure that it's happening in the proper way.
So at the end of the day, it comes again back to people, both from customers deciding what to focus, what products to roll out, how to market them on the football angle, and at the same time also on the people that you're bringing on, mentoring, coaching, knowing when to add, knowing when to subtract, and kind of developing that recipe, isn't it?
Because you know people, I always say that people are the most important ingredient in the leadership, because it's either that you are utilizing the people to deliver the service or to achieve your business goal, or you are offering the service to the people. So definitely, it's all about the people. We're doing all this, whether for our families to support them, whether to the customers, the people who are working, or they are doing the job. They are doing this so that they can live and they can achieve their ambitions. But again, the technology, or getting the technology, or how the technology works, or bringing even budget, this is something that I think it's more easier. I always say it's very easy to work with a machine rather than working with a human being. And I think this could be the challenge of the AI for the coming period. Yani it's gonna eliminate the what comes with the challenge that comes with the handling humans rather than handling machines. Yeah, I think this would be interesting, Amir, right?
Yeah, I think like I attended the conference. mm, it was What If by Think Institute from London Business School, and this conference was 2014, and the question that was asked in 2014 was, "What if your boss is a robot?"
Okay.
And that "What if your boss is a robot?" You can imagine, of course, 2014, like everyone was like, "You really? Okay, let's play along." And I would love to see the faces of the team now. And in reality, I think our boss now is a robot, regardless whether it's physical or not. We all
Yes. Yeah.
touch it and try to ask what is there. It is very interesting, and I think the team mix will change completely. And last episode, I think, Alex, we talked about Manus, your favorite, and how the acquisition of Meta to Manus, and how Manus as a placement of agentic actually team members works. And actually, since we said that, I know that's not the core of our episode today. Also, the AI.com announcement in the Super Bowl,
Mhm.
and like, go book your handle, go book your agent. And that was also interesting agent
So
setup.
let's maybe
to see-
introduce that, Amir. Just kind of the, I guess, overarching topic of what we wanted to discuss today is AI and AI adoption strategies for the big players. So yeah, why don't you kick us off? Maybe what's the first topic we should touch? Would it be the Apple acquisition or?
Well, actually, this time, and I'm gonna lead with actually, and I want you to keep that in your mind, Yahya, because we're gonna talk about it at the closure, right? Now, when we started, we were saying, okay, we have launched 3G, then we have to introduce 4G, and maybe we have a decision of IP or not IP, like a small, I would say, simple decisions compared to nowadays. And also, like, it's not unlimited budgets now. So I would imagine in your head and the team's head and how you're setting up now, okay, do we build the data centers by mass to serve AI to the nation, or to build data centers less, or do we put AI mix into the team, or we have to slow down on this? We're launching 5G, and do we need to put that 5G on this setup or not, or do we put so that complexity of actually new technology rate, which was, let's say, we used to say it's 5 to 7 years when you get a new one. Now is like, okay, next hour with a new technology coming, let's see what we're gonna do
Every
about it.
2-3 months, you have new models and new possibilities. Yeah.
Exactly, and I wanted this time to take us. We in the TrickCast we always anchor a couple of news, and then we start discussing a little bit about them and see what we can learn from that, or what we can disagree on if we disagree. So today I wanted to take a little bit of a timeline since March 2024 till last month with Apple, and I wanted to share that with you, and I want to see what do you think actually. Tim Cook came after Steve Jobs, and he is considered to be, like, I don't know, non-charismatic, subtle. Of course, it's unfair to say that about him, but he's really coming after the legendary Steve Jobs. But since March 24, he started actually doing different moves, because it was obvious that Siri is like really handicapped, and AI adoption of Apple and AI introduction of Apple to the market was slower than everyone else. So the first move I saw they did is that they started integrating Siri into ChatGPT. Like, went to Sam Altman for, hey, let's see some integration. Then
And that was
later,
Apple Intelligence, wasn't it?
exactly, and
At
then
least an attempt.
and I noticed as well that they have put together some pillars of their strategy. It was very clear they kept their privacy game, and that the adoption of the AI mod has to be on the device. Data will only be sent in secured clouds, and a lot of protection that actually signifies Apple. But then the next move, they changed the chief AI officer actually, from John Grenandere to Amar Subramania. Very hard name for me. Can you pronounce it? Subramania. Um, so, and then later, early this year, two interesting moves. Complete integration of Siri into Gemini with Google, and then acquisition series of acquisitions. But the most important for us here is Q.ai, which is facial micro movement AI, and kind of the crown jewel of their movement, right? It's a very interesting company. We can have a full episode to talk about it, and this is one of the founders that managed to do 2 exits to Apple. So definitely there is a lot to see about him later. But QI came after 4 acquisitions. So they acquired Darwin AI, and then they acquired Data Collab, and then they acquired Prompt AI, and then boom was QAI. And I guess with QAI, Apple will be the only player that can have emotional intelligence integrated into their AI machine, reading your facial micro movements and reactions, and then putting it into a move. The last one was actually the integration with Anthropic as well, to change the back end, which they call XVibe, to make the developers use Anthropic agents for coding, completely revamped the structure. And here I skipped the pass of the hardware as well with the M5. So back to you, Yehia, here. When you hear this timeline from Tim Cook, from what the fuck is happening? Siri is like fucked up. There's no AI. Up to the point where we are saying Apple will be literally in the next months introducing emotional intelligence integrated into their AI machinery with the mix of Gemini. And that's on the range from March 24. We're talking what? February 26, almost less than in. So, wow, right?
I think it goes back to whatever Apple is always doing. Apple, they never um, care about coming late or delivering late, but they always make sure that they are delivering the proper the proper service or the proper need, okay, with the proper and the highest quality to the customer. And I think this is the main differentiator. We always see across the time, يعني, I have been using Apple since the first iPhone. I think it was the first iPhone I got was iPhone 3S or something like this. And since then, I have been fascinated by Apple devices. The thing is that I'm not fascinated by the device that they are offering. I'm fascinated about the ecosystem behind the device, the customer support, the how they are offering the how they are integrating everything to support the customer and make their product the best product to the customer. So I think this goes again to whatever Apple is always doing. So when they started the ChatGPT integration with Siri, I think this was not the best move at that point of time, but they did it so that they can have an AI in their products at that point. Everybody's offering AI, everybody's having AI in their mobiles, and even the how they are using AI to edit photos, for example. It was not the best thing at that point of time. The good thing about Apple is that they know how to adapt and how to early enough understand that this is not going to be working. I need to do a change in strategy or a change in how am I doing things, and this is the agility that Apple's always handles. So I think integrating the Gemini with Siri and even with the iPhone software, this is gonna enhance a lot how they are editing their photos and what quality are they going to be doing this. And again, as you said, providing intelligence, real, as you said, human intelligence and emotional intelligence to the Apple. I think this is gonna be the leap that is going to have a great impact on how Apple actually always leads, even if they come late, but they lead with their quality and innovative service to the customer.
So from what I'm hearing from you, they missed the bus. They immediately stepped in with a stopgap. Like let's
Exactly.
let's find a batch. Let's reduce. Let's do something. Let's put something in that. So that was the integration with OpenAI, which everyone thought that might be the strategy, and we were not really happy about it. All of us,
Yeah.
even Elon Musk, sued them for that. And then the next one is okay. Apparently, they had like a two track. One track is like let's stop the gap, let's stop the bleeding, let's say something. And then the second track is okay, let's build the future on our own rate because that we cannot afford a mistake here.
Yes.
Do you agree on that setup? Do you feel that you have
Yes.
done that here, or how it's happening in day to day with you?
يعني definitely in some areas, yes. Maybe not in the AI part, maybe in different decisions. But the good thing is that whenever you're having a delayed or a wrong decision, you need to go out of the bus early because the journey of returning back is going to be more expensive than going out right now and trying to correct whatever you have done.
It's gonna be
Uh,
painful.
yes, yes. So I think they have done it in a good way. I'm optimistic about it. Maybe in the coming period we are going to be seeing very differentiated services from Apple that integrates really emotional understanding or emotional AI to their services. Yeah.
Interesting. But I actually reflect on something what I think is there's always a trust in Apple from customers or fans or citizens of Apple, if you want to call it this way, quoting the sovereign individual as Alex. That's your favorite
Mhm.
one.
It is.
So the citizens of Apple, if we're going to call them this way, there's trust in Apple. But when I reflect on it, I actually feel they are always going back to their core whenever there's a challenge. And the reason I want us to later reflect on Steve Jobs in 1997, when he came back after the whole collapse of Apple in this time, he threw a speech when Apple was almost bankrupted, like it doesn't exist anymore. And that speech, he was it's one. I think it's the only speech that Steve Jobs has been booed on when he was talking. And what he said is, "We lost everything, but we are now coming to return it back. And I think we only own three things. And the first, we have a brand that no one will actually mention the top 10 brands in the world without mentioning it. So and I think if I quote, he said, if you tell any customer about brands, he will tell you Nike, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, or McDonald's, Pepsi, Coca-Cola. We're not going to be away from the top five. And then the second, that we had partners that we can rely on. And at this time, he missed the bus completely of like Internet Explorer, for example, compared to Windows, no browser, like no Microsoft Office, now none of that. And then he said, okay, we're going to take it from Microsoft. And he gave Microsoft a premium deal. I think it was 150 million at this time, 1997. That was like selling his kidney in reality to his rival. And then the last one, which was really fascinating for me, when he said, and we have the most creative customers. There is no creative customer that doesn't use Apple, even in our worst shape. And analytics in 1997, really knowing his customer to that anchor. And I feel whenever we talk about Apple, that 1997 speech from Steve Jobs have kind of shaped how they behave as an organization. And despite that, everyone says that Steve Jobs is an asshole or an egoistic and angry, he really dropped his ego and asked help from his rival. And like time and customer serving against ego, that was a very strong presence there. And I feel Cook is doing the same playbook now, like going out to partners, doing this and dropping there. What is the core when you're actually thinking about what is it, the core that when you're actually reflecting on your own journey and what you're going to do now with all of this fiasco around different decisions, what is the core that you feel that if you mirror the whole story to you, what are you going to say? What is this?
You
What's
know,
your
you know,
that in general actually?
yeah, yeah, from whatever you have been saying, it just goes back again to a single thing that we were discussing in the beginning, that you need to have something very clear in mind that you are aspiring to, that you are looking forward to, and you need to make sure that you believe that you are going to be achieving this, and you need to make sure that everybody is working against this. Okay, so when he said we are having the best or actually the most innovative customers, at a point of time, any media shop or any media company, they were only using MacBooks for their media. Okay, so they were able to achieve that they are actually going to be used by any innovative customer, their products are going to be used by any innovative customers. If you look at, as he said, we need to have the brand in the top five brands, or in the top brands. Actually, I think Apple now, from the valuation, they are on the second or third place. Yani. So actually, he even believed in this and he achieved this. So again, making sure that you're having a proper, clear end in mind target, and even this is could be as challenging as it could be. But when you believe and you make sure that you are communicating clearly, why are we aspiring to this, or what is going to be the benefit of aspiring to this, I think you're going to be having the proper troops who are going to be working with you, and they are going to be definitely at the end achieving whatever you've said. I think this it's a great example of whatever we have been talking about in the beginning, that making sure that you're having clear target in mind, challenging enough for everybody to be looking forward to achieving it, and communicating, and always communicating to them that this is, we're going to be doing this because of this and this and this. So you're going to bring everybody to the traction of achieving the goal.
So Yahya, I'm gonna throw a couple of questions in Arabic. I can't have you in here now without talking about
Sure.
Egypt and AI strategy in Egypt. We talk about it quickly, and then we see how Alex's perception about how we speak in Arabic. What do you think, Alex?
Perfect. Sounds good.
I
should have
think
prepared
Alex,
I
Google
should have prepared
Translate.
my live pixel translation. I have it right here, but I'd have to
ايوه
disconnect my.
So يحيى منورنا النهارده.
الله
ما
يخليك،
اقدرش
والله يا ربنا يكرمك.
يعني ما اقدرش اقول لك حجم الانبساط ان احنا في الدردشه الجميله دي مع بعض.
والله انا كمان مبسوط. انا مستغرب ان احنا يعني احنا اصحاب، وفي نفس الوقت يعني this is like بجد مبسوط جدا جدا والله.
I love it. I love it. انا طبعا احنا دلوقتي اتكلمنا كتير قوي على الليدرشيب ستايلز وعلى التكنولوجي والتكنولوجي ادوبشنز، ودردشنا شويه على ابل وتيم كوك وهاو they're doing. ما اقدرش اسيب القعده دي كده من غير ما اقول لك ايه رايك في وايه نصايحك للجيل الانتربرينورز المصريين، وايه يفكروا فيه لما يكونوا بيحددوا اهدافهم، وايه اللي يقدروا يعملوه. ده سؤال مهم محتاج اسمع رايك فيه. والجيل الجديد النيو جي تيز اللي داخلين معاك دلوقتي شركتك ومع التيم، تحب تقول لهم ايه اللي اتغير، ايه اللي اختلف، وايه اللي المفروض يركزوا فيه، واسمع رايك فيها وبعدين اسالك على حاجه تانيه.
طيب بص، هو انا دايما مقتنع ان هو whatever rules apply it will remain، هتفضل to remain applying في whatever time. اوكي، يعني خلينا نتفق اتفاق ان انت to be curious it will remain، صح؟ whether دلوقتي او بعدين. ان انت to be persistent it will apply دلوقتي او بعدين. It's all about the attitude، whether بقى in the era of AI، ولا في وقت ال 3G، ولا وقت ال 4G، ولا وقت التليفون ابو قرص في الاول خالص، ولا وقت اينشتاين لما كان بيعمل اللمبه. فاجين being curious it will remain. Then you have to remain curious. Okay, you have to remain learning. You have to keep on learning every day. You have to keep on learning.
Sorry, I'm gonna get back to English because you're really touching a very interesting topic here. So what Yehia is saying, Alex, and I would loop you in here with this, that we have been almost all migrating to English because that's the de facto now of business. And one of the goals is to start localizing language again into our business transactions, so you talk in your mother tongue in your business and to make it work. And now I'm gonna throw the argument here, and I would be really loving to hear your positive opinions around it. Actually, I think it's becoming impossible to go back to the roots of speaking your mother tongue in business, specifically with the new wave of Gen AI, because almost all the models and the most important business practice now is to literally, like, you're gonna be coding in English now. You don't need to write a language of code. You're speaking everything almost on the language of the most LLMs, and they are
Popular
all in English.
platform.
2 questions here. One, do you think really with this wave can you adopt, and what will be the necessary things? And second question is, do you see governments now putting efforts properly to localize the LLMs for their nations and protect their sovereignty in reality? I go with Alex first this time, and then we go back to you.
I don't think I have an answer on the second topic about the governments. Somebody I bring up quite a bit, Amir, that we talked about, Balaji Srinivasan, who was the former CTO of Coinbase. He's involved in many startups. And he's got this interesting philosophy that, and it's partly based as well on the Sovereign Individual, the book as well, that all the different countries are starting to have their own, let's say, firewall of some kind, right? Like China has its own firewall, Russia has its own Yandex and Mail.ru and all of these different kind of spin-offs, right? That they need to control the flow of information, because if ChatGPT is, let's say, American ideology passed down through these LLMs to the rest of the world, I think countries are already being cautious about letting that in, right? Like there's a term that became popular in the past couple of years, a mind virus, where we see people do crazy things, because of some ideology. So I think it makes sense that everybody's going to have their own degree of shielding and let's say scaffolding to protect it from outside influence. But that's probably the extent to which I have an opinion on that.
It's going to be a mix. It will remain to be a mix. At a point of time, yes, as you said, there are commonalities across the world that it will require standard language amongst all the world. But again, we need to have our own flavor, our own market flavor, cultural flavor in the technology. And يعني أعتقد إن هي ده let me continue in English so that we can bring Alex with us. I think that this is the main thing, that we need to have a base of standard language that is working for everybody, but there is a cultural flavor or a portion or a silo that is identifying أو fitting for that culture or that country or that dialect or that language, because it's going to go even to the level of the dialects, not only the language. Because right now, if you see the models that are used for narrating Arabic text, for example, you can identify whether this is Egyptian Arabic or this is Jordanian Arabic, or it's a slang Egyptian Arabic, or so again, it's going to go up to this. So we need to have our flavor. We need to have our cultural input in that.
Well, can I ask you guys this? If we talk about Apple collaborating with Gemini to bring a lot of their intelligence into their AI products, and Gemini has Google has an amazing suite of products for even live translation, with very, very small delay. What's stopping them, just like we're localizing SEO, that let's say, Amir, your company is in Berlin and you're going to do your website in German because that's where the majority of your customers initially are going to be. As you expand, you're going to have it in English and Arabic and all these other places, right? I think just with LLM's capabilities to translate things at that scale instantly almost, with, let's say, even Google's capabilities to do the real life translation, what's stopping somebody selecting their mother tongue when they download ChatGPT and is giving you, just like X is giving you tweets in Arabic, right? If you're searching for your local news, it's going to be the same thing in ChatGPT. And of course, over time, right, you will have some human feedback loops as well to coordinate that. Hey, this is how an Egyptian would say this phrase, and not somebody from Lebanon, for example, right?
I agree, and I actually I would differentiate between the representation layer and the thinking layer, or the critical modeling layer.
So you mean
Is that-
actually thinking in Arabic as almost from like the cognitive perspective, how you form your sentences and how you...
and thinking in Arabic or
Interesting.
thinking in French or thinking in Russian or thinking Chinese, whatever the thinking is. I think, in my view, again, back to what we're talking about, the link between the language and the thinking process, it reflects also the core of the culture when you're thinking in the language. You, by nature, you will hear us saying, Alhamdulillah, mashallah, whatever. It's going to be coming when you're talking about it. And it gives the cultural components are always reflected in learning the language. and speaking and thinking like the language. That would be my view. But 100% aligned on the representation layer. That's not my worry actually. It's the easiest now. Well, I don't know what you think, Yahya.
I totally agree with you, Amir, because as you said, now, right now, if you're having a website, you're using Chrome, for example, with a German website, you're gonna be getting directly that Google Translate offers that you translate this in your language or in English or whatever. So again, for on the application layer, on the representation layer, this is I think it's available right now, and this is where the strength of AI goes, because there are a lot of applications right now on the online translation or something. But as Amir is saying, your mindset when you're thinking in Arabic is different than your mindset when you're thinking in English or thinking in a different language. This is again, I feel that this is something right, as Amir is saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I have one big problem with what you said. Like, the
Why?
problem is if we're using Egyptian Arabic GPT, how you gonna light a fire under its feet, to make it do the work? I don't know how you're gonna adapt that leadership.
Believe me, we'll find a way.
you know that
You're gonna have
you
to
know
yell
that
at it with
that we work very well. I think Egyptians, they work very, as we were saying, Egyptians work very well when there is a challenge to solve it. Okay, so I think if we take that challenge, we're gonna be solving it. Yani,
Yeah.
it's 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 actually going to be more encouraging for our teams to solve that.
But it will be very hard for me to imagine an LLM model with the Egyptian fahlawa. And I have no idea how to explain the Egyptian fahlawa to you, Alex. Yeah.
Yeah, but it might be a competency. By the way, it will never be in any other LLM. So we are gonna be mastering that. So
So, yeah. Yeah, it will be the only fahlawa based LLM model. So, it's very interesting. Yahya, I can't thank you enough for the time with us today. And as we're gonna be closing the session, I want to ask you, how do you see yourself in a boardroom of technology leadership, a scholar or a magician?
okay, first of all, I'm really happy. It went very very well. I feel that actually I'm chatting with a friend, yani, and definitely it's very nice meeting you, Alex. And again, we're gonna be
likewise.
meeting again, inshallah.
I hope we do this, the three of
If
us, with the pyramids behind us one day.
Yeah, we're going to. I'm going to be sponsoring this. I stay a little bit near the Grand Museum of Egypt and the pyramids.
Perfect.
So I'm going to be inviting you both for in the same location, and because we're going to be having our own discussion and having Egyptian food also, so that we can enjoy our time beside the
Amazing.
pyramids. Going back to Amir's question, I believe I'm more of a scholar leadership rather than a magician leadership. I always like to deliver through people. I don't like to have a one man show of like the magician who always does everything himself. Or shows he has definitely a team behind him, but he's always in the spotlight and he's always in the front line. I like to deliver through people. I like to. I don't like to leave anybody behind. I try to make sure that we are all coming together, and I like to lead from behind rather than being a one man show. So I would choose to be a scholar leadership rather than a magician leadership.
Alex, do you agree?
Boy, I think it makes a lot of sense, and that's a very interesting twist on that question. Your perspective that the magician being kind of a one man show and the team being hidden in the background. I think it makes a lot of sense. I definitely see it, and yeah, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much. But Amir, I would like to get your opinion about it, because I think you could know me a little bit more. Yeah.
I actually would not call you 100% a scholar, actually, because you have some tricks under your sleeve, but you're just subtle about it, and you apply the tricks when you need to apply them. So, but I agree. If I would put a scale, it will be like for sure like 7 on the scholar. You're able to really like pass the message to the team and like surround them around your school. And it's also reflecting on your career, like very long, lengthy career in one place, and like really coming like the statueship in the middle, where actually the whole technology department in is surrounded around. So that scholar is definitely existing. But no, I have seen you throwing some tricks and playing also undercut punches when needed. So
When needed.
and so no, I would give you a 3 out of 10 in the magician.
It's a sliding scale.
Yeah, and then like maybe the 7 will go definitely on the room of the scholar. And I would say most of the people that worked with you and still working with you will kind of agree with me that actually the kind of the subtle calm, putting you on the right track and make the team surrounded and reaching the right consensus and making sure that we are all on the right tone here and moving, even if it's slow or fast, regardless of what is needed base here. That's a gift I think you're really mastering very well. But I've seen some underhanded tricks that been played every now and then, so I wouldn't really remove the magician completely, to be honest. So
Thank you so much. It's never black and white. We always have the gray. It's a good color, yeah.
yeah, it is.
Thank
It
you so
is.
much, Amir.
I really enjoyed, and I would really like to thank
Me
you.
too.
اللي متابعنا النهارده، انا حابب اشكر يحيى قوي على القعده الجميله دي، وحابب اركز على الثلاث نصايح اللي هو اداها لنا لل young leaders, young talents: curiosity, continue learning, and you don't have to use everything, but use what matters to you. I said them in our English again. Anyway,
يعني thank you so much يا أمير والله. يعني it was great seeing you, Alex, and definitely we're gonna be meeting again.
I'm sure of it. Well, thank you guys, and until next time.